people who lost their virginity after age 35 or never did. What's your story? I was 35, fat, no self-esteem, the usual story. I had long since given up on actively looking for dates. I was comfortable being single and had made peace with my life. Then I just happened to meet someone on a bus while on vacation and we clicked. Did the semi-long distance thing for a couple months before properly hooking up. The first time was predictably awkward. She knew what she was doing though, and I've since figured things out. Practice makes perfect and whatnot. Eventually she moved in with me and we got married. Still are. It's not a super interesting story or anything, but you asked fit. I had a work colleague who at age 42 is still a virgin. Thing is, she wanted to have sex. She talked about it all the time. She wasn't religious. She didn't want to be married first. She didn't have any reason to not have sex. She just said it just never happened for her, and then as she got older and older it got harder and harder because potential partners thought it was weird. She's a pretty attractive woman too, so I spent too much time studying while in school and forgot socializing was a thing. This now lead me to my current predicament where I have a high-paying job but no one I could call, even a friend, let alone a lol. I lost my virginity at 31. I was generally uninterested in dating in my early 20s and spent most of my time smoking pot and playing video games. In my late 20s it became apparent I had no skills trying to attract the opposite sex. I went on and off again trying to meet someone using dating apps. But most women lost interest in me after the first date and the rest after the second or third. I had given up on dating again when my sister set me up on a blind date with someone her husband knew. We surprisingly hit it off. Fast forward a few months and the time comes to do the deed. I was understandably nervous. There are things about sex no amount of porn can prepare you for. Namely the smell, taste, and mechanical execution of work that is sex. The first time was awkward, but it got better. I must not have sucked at it as much as it felt like I did because we've been married for 6 months. Now, edit. When I said smell and taste, I mean that they are distinct, not rank. Good friend of mine was in his late 30s. He suffered from some really bad social anxiety and as a result was really awkward in a lot of social settings. After college he would work, go home, practice playing the drums or watch movies. He wouldn't even travel. I invited him on my adventures several times. He would always find a reason to not come. Dude basically worked a good job to make money and build a gnarly home theater. This last year he decided he was going to try online dating and shit went sideways. We all have bad online dating stories. I convinced him to take up recreational sports. He met a girl playing soccer and they have been together for like 6 months and he lost it to her. H has really come out of his shell the last little bit. 42-year-old virgin. Always been an introvert. Never got out much. Now I fear I've just missed my chance. Edit. Wow, this kinda blew up. For those curious, comments seem to be split pretty evenly between "you still got time, man, just put yourself out there and it'll happen," and "dude, just get a prostitute and get it over with," and "yes, I have seen that Steve Carell movie." 29. I had so much anxiety about myself and low self-esteem issues that it took until August last year for me to even go on a couple of dates. Ultimately it didn't work out. She didn't want to be with someone who had a lot of learning to do, and frankly with the bustle of work, hobbies, socializing and self-care, I kind of forgot about pursuing a relationship until now. Not me. My BF was 35 when he lost his. I was his first. I, on the other hand, is a divorcee. He is an introvert and quite awkward in conversations. The only reason that we got to know each other well was because I rented his Airbnb room for 2 weeks. Nothing sexual happened during that time. We just got to spend time talking and doing some hikes together. The tension was undeniable, but we stayed decent to each other as we both didn't want to do anything to spoil the bond we have slowly created. We became friends first, and now after about 2 years of having a long-distance relationship, we are living together. I lost my virginity at 35. I've always been overweight and a constant fear of rejection kept me from dating most of my life. Almost exactly a year ago I just said, fuck it, and downloaded Tinder. I went on a few dates before meeting the love of my life. She was only a little more experienced than I was, and never showed signs of surprise or made me feel weird about being so inexperienced. I intend to propose on the anniversary of our first date. For the people posting saying their chance has passed, it's never too late. F32, currently virgin. Religious background, that is what has led to this situation. Living in a small city. Don't want to use Tinder here. And just have not met anyone yet. Non-existent social life. I had a trip planned next weekend to another country to see someone and very likely to have sex with the monsieur. Not going to happen now because of Corona. I can reschedule my flights, but he won't be in that country after this month. 29-year-old F here. I'm pretty sure I'm asexual or something. Even as a teen, I never put sex up on a pedestal. It was never something I absolutely needed to get right now. Even with me having hormones. Probably doesn't help that I'm introverted as hell, antisocial, ugly, and have zero self-esteem. But in all honesty, sex has just never interested me. TL. Doctor, I just never cared enough about it to try to get some. Extremely reserved, extremely shy, very low self-confidence, very anxious, and to top it off, I'm trying to recover from a bad depression. I've never dated before, and trying now would be a terrible idea. 36 years old. I used to try to get with people, but I was terrible at it. Eventually, I grew up and realized I could get more from people other than sex. Which I honestly had a problem with anyway because I'm paranoid about rape and consequences. I try to make friends instead, and I am more comfortable with that. Honestly, it works for me. F35, lost it just a few months ago. Plenty of details in my posting history for those who are curious. I became painfully shy as a teenager and just couldn't socialize with people. And especially guys, outside my small circle of friends. As time went by, I just accepted that it probably wouldn't happen. There's nothing really wrong with me, and overall I was very happy with every other aspect of my life. I just never had any success with men, romantically. Most of my friends are guys. I didn't date, ever. I never put myself out there, and if someone approached me, my immediate response was to withdraw. But about a year ago I started to hang out with a few of my new co-workers, and I became pretty good friends with one of them. And one thing led to another. I'm still kind of in awe that it actually did happen, and that it doesn't feel weird that I'm suddenly having sex. My friend is a 35-year-old virgin. He is open about it and is saving himself for marriage. For religious reasons, and marriage just hasn't happened for him. He actually has a really active social life. Gets out a lot. Dates here and there. But the dates don't usually seem to pan out. He hasn't been in a LTR for ages and nowhere close to marriage. He still lives with his mom, which is understandably a deal breaker for lots of women he has dated. He also has admitted that over the years he has become bitter and has some anger towards women in general that he is trying to come to terms with. He knows he needs to let go of that anger before he stands a chance at dating successfully. And he still plans on saving sex for marriage.